that in philosophy, and in particular some ethicists in philosophy, have written extensively on why groups and states resort to violence, and in many cases it is a failure of an appreciation of an ethics of care towards the other. And I think what I was struck by what you said, Diana, last week, is that your shock, if I can put it like that actors still do not get that violence breeds violence, and violence is not the answer.
Yes.
So if you care to elaborate on that, please?
Yes. Well, one of the things that has quite shocked me is that absence of people saying, well, can we resolve this issue non-violently? Yeah. Nobody seems to be saying that in the media. And I don't think you can kill your way to peace. My grandparents were in the First World War, and they were told this was the war to end all wars, and it wasn't. So I really feel that we need to look at the underlying causes in the Middle East and work on pathways to peace. But we also need to build deeper, stronger, better relationships with each other. Yeah. And I feel there's been an absence of leadership. I was really disappointed that the Jewish Christian Muslim Association fell over. I thought this would have been the moment when it was most needed, and it just didn't happen. Yeah. I feel there has been an absence of a commitment to peace as a path as well as a result. And I don't know how we can get to the result of peace without the path of peace.
Thank you, Dan. Joel, any reflections on that?
Yeah, it's thanks, Feti, for having me, and Deakin and AIS. It's great to be here with you all. I was thinking about your initial question about why we have got such a strong identification with these issues, particularly from overseas. And I mean, one of the obvious questions is that we see these victims put before us in such stark terms, on TV, etc., and they really move our conscience in particular ways. But the downside to that is that sometimes our identification with certain victims is partisan, and it becomes a way of mobilising us in certain ways to rivalry, to build identity over against other people. I mean, in Australia, we don't have very strong rivalries. I'm from Queensland. Apart from Queensland and New South Wales, we're pretty lucky that we don't. I don't mean to denigrate. We don't have. We certainly have problems, and of course our Indigenous history, etc., all that. But we generally get on reasonably well. But obviously in a lot of other places there are really strong, intractable rivalries, not just in the Middle East, but think about India and Pakistan, or China and India, or Russia and the United States, all that kind of thing. And these rivalries can really move us, give us identity in a very strong way. And they're very dangerous. We're lucky in Australia that, as I said, we're really largely immune from that. But they do get us going, and then they lead us to feel like that we can build identity in these kind of negative ways over against other people, and that's when it gets problematic and dangerous. And I think that's probably the dark side of why we identify with these global issues sometimes. I think there's all of what Ihsan said was very true, and there's identity, belonging, there's diaspora dynamics, all that kind of thing. But there's also that potential for, we're looking for a way to build our identity, and here's an easy way of going about it. And I think we in Australia have to be really careful about that, because we've got a beautiful country with largely a pretty cohesive place, and we want to protect that as best we can, I think.